Shock and outrage. The revelation that Mike Waltz's team, the US National Security Advisor, created no fewer than 20 signal chats to discuss critical security matters is nothing short of a scandal. According to Politico, these chats were set up to coordinate discussions on a range of highly sensitive topics, including Ukraine, China, the Gaza Strip, Middle East politics, Africa, and Europe. How is this even possible? The use of Signal, a commercially available messaging platform for such conversation, is not just reckless, it's a complete failure to uphold basic security protocols. At least 20 separate chats, 20, where confidential, high-stakes information was openly discussed. Those who participated in these chats have confirmed that sensitive and classified details were indeed shared. This is utterly shocking. How can those in positions of power be so careless? Experienced national security professionals have rightfully expressed their concerns, warning that such an approach is not only irresponsible but also dangerous. The risks are enormous. Confidential information could easily fall into the wrong hands, putting US national security at grave risk. This blatant disregard for the most basic security measures is completely unacceptable. The people responsible for this should be held fully accountable. Security isn't just a matter of following procedures. It is a matter of protecting lives, resources, and the very safety of a nation. Letting something like this slide is simply not an option. If public officials want to discuss military activities, they must enter a specially designated space known as a sensitive compartmented information facility, SCIF. It is not simply a suggestion, it is a matter of protecting classified information. Senior officials in national security, especially at the cabinet level, typically establish SCIFs in their homes or communicate only through approved government equipment. According to legal experts, there is a reason for this stringent protocol. Typically, mobile phones are not allowed inside SCIFs, highlighting how serious the risks are when sensitive information is discussed in unsecured spaces. Now, the situation involving Mike Waltz's team using a commercially available app like Signal to discuss military operations, including those related to Ukraine, China, and other critical topics, raises serious concerns. Imagine the risk. These officials could have been sharing classified details about an ongoing military operation in public spaces. This is not just a technical lapse, it is a dangerous oversight. If any of their phones had been lost or stolen, the potential consequences for national security could have been catastrophic. But that's not where the problems end. It was also revealed that Waltz set certain messages to delete after a week, while others were said to disappear after 4 weeks. This brings into question whether officials may have violated federal record-keeping laws. Text messages concerning official actions are considered records and must be preserved. Under the laws that govern documents within the White House and federal agencies, all government officials are prohibited from using messaging apps like Signal for official purposes unless those messages are immediately forwarded or copied to an official government account. This is where the implications really start to hit home. By circumventing the legal framework that ensures transparency and accountability, these officials are playing fast and loose with national security. Jason Barron, a former director of litigation for the National Archives and Records Administration, has made it clear this kind of behavior undermines both the integrity of government operations and the protection of sensitive information. The real question here is, how did it get to this point? National security discussions are not just about following rules, they are about safeguarding lives, strategies, and national interest. And when individuals entrusted with such responsibility fail to uphold these fundamental safeguards, the consequences can be far-reaching. Is it acceptable for high-level officials to treat secure communication platforms like casual messaging services? Absolutely not. The risks far outweigh any perceived convenience. In today's digital age, the need for strong, reliable, and secure communication channels has never been greater. Yet we find ourselves facing a situation where, through a lack of foresight, convenience has dangerously been prioritized over national security. This should be a wake-up call, a reminder of how critical it is to maintain integrity in the handling of classified information. The time for accountability is now before the next, even more serious breach takes place. The Defense Department's DoD internal watchdog is investigating Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's use of the messaging app Signal to discuss highly sensitive military information, according to a newly released memo. The probe, launched by Acting Inspector General Stephen Stebbins, will look at whether Hegseth complied with DoD policies when he used a group chat to discuss details of a strike against Houthi militants in Yemen last month. In addition to other Trump administration officials, the group accidentally included a prominent journalist. In a letter to Hegseth, Stebbins said he will also review whether Hegseth violated any rules regarding classified information. Critics have alleged that the details he shared included classified material, which Hegseth denies. Stebbins also indicated that Hegseth will likely have to turn over materials for the IG to review. The watchdog opened the probe after request from leaders of the Senate Armed Services Committee, who became concerned after the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic reported last month that he had been invited to the Signal group chat where Hegseth relayed sensitive details regarding strikes against the Houthi, including the timing of the attack and what types of aircraft and weapons would be used. After SAC, Hegseth jeopardized national security in the group chat. Trump White House tried to declare case closed. I worked on bipartisan basis to ensure an independent investigation. Today, case opened. Committee ranking member Senator Jack Reed posted to the social media platform X after news of the watchdog case broke. The administration has acknowledged the chat was legitimate, but has pushed back at assertions the information was classified. Hegseth, who shared the information with the group, which included the Vice President Vance and National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, has staunchly denied any classified information was shared. Asked about the IG investigation, President Trump told journalists on Thursday, "Don't bring that up again. It's such a wasted story." Stebbins previously served as the Pentagon's Deputy Inspector General, but took the lead role after Trump fired Robert Storch in a purge of more than a dozen inspectors general across the federal government when he first took office. He said that the IG evaluation will take place both in Washington, D.C. and at U.S. Central Command headquarters in Tampa. Members of President Donald Trump's National Security Council, including White House National Security Advisor Michael Waltz, have conducted government business over personal Gmail accounts, according to documents reviewed by the Washington Post and interviews with 3 U.S. officials. The use of Gmail, a far less secure method of communication than the encrypted messaging app Signal, is the latest example of questionable data security practices by top national security officials, already under fire for the mistaken inclusion of a journalist in a group chat about high-level planning for military operations in Yemen. Asania Waltz aides used the commercial email service for highly technical conversations with colleagues at other government agencies involving sensitive military positions and powerful weapons systems relating to an ongoing conflict, according to emails reviewed by the Post. While the NSC official used his Gmail account, his interagency colleagues used government-issued accounts. Headers from the email correspondence show Waltz has had less sensitive but potentially exploitable information sent to his Gmail, such as his schedule and other work documents, said officials who, like others, spoke on the condition of anonymity to describe what they viewed as problematic handling of information. The official said Waltz would sometimes copy and paste from his schedule into Signal to coordinate meetings and discussions. The use of personal email, even for unclassified materials, is risky given the premium value foreign intelligence services place on the communications and schedules of senior government officials, such as the National Security Advisor expert says. NSC spokesman Brian Hughes said he has seen no evidence of Waltz using his personal email as described, and said on occasion when legacy contacts have mailed him work-related materials, he makes sure to CC his government email to ensure compliance with federal records laws that require officials to archive official correspondence. Waltz didn't and wouldn't send classified information on an open account, said Hughes. When asked about the Waltz staffer discussing sensitive military matters over Gmail, Hughes said NSC staff have guidance about using only secure platforms for classified information. Waltz has also created and hosted other Signal chats with cabinet members on sensitive topics, including on Somalia and Russia's war in Ukraine, said a senior administration official. The existence of those groups was first reported by the Wall Street Journal on Sunday. Hughes said that Signal is approved and in some cases is added automatically to government devices. He acknowledged that it is not supposed to be used for classified material and insisted Waltz never used it as such. Waltz's creation of a Signal group chat that discussed sensitive information and included Jeffrey Goldberg, the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic and a prominent critic of President Donald Trump, has rankled the president and frustrated other cabinet members whose communications were exposed on the chat. Publicly, Trump has strongly backed Waltz, but on Wednesday he met with Vice President J.D. Vance, Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, and others to discuss whether to keep him on. A day later, he informed aides he was not firing Waltz, but it was largely out of a desire to avoid giving the liberal media a scalp, said a senior administration official. This incident badly damaged Waltz, said the official, who noted that the national security advisor was told after the meeting that he needed to be more deferential to Wiles. The Wednesday meeting was first reported by the New York Times. Data security experts have expressed alarm that U.S. national security professionals are not more readily using the government's suite of secure encrypted systems for work communications such as JWICS, the Joint Worldwide Intelligence Communication System. Most concerning, however, is the use of personal email, which is widely acknowledged to be susceptible to hacking, spear phishing, and other types of digital compromise. Unless you're using GPG, email is not end-to-end encrypted, and the contents of a message can be intercepted and read at many points, including on Google's email servers, said Eva Galperin, director of cybersecurity at the Electronic Frontier Foundation. National security experts have expressed alarm over the administration's denial that the leaked Signal chat contained classified information. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's comments in the Signal chat detailed the sequencing time and weapon systems in advance of the Trump administration's March attack on Houthi militants in Yemen, potentially jeopardizing U.S. airmen headed into harm's way. In the chat, Waltz offered a brief but highly specific after-action report of the strikes, revealing that the military had positive ID of a senior Houthi leader walking into his girlfriend's building, pointing to what intelligence sources would later confirm was Israeli surveillance capabilities shared with the United States. Israeli officials expressed frustration that their capabilities were made public. U.S. officials say Trump is much more upset about the inclusion of a liberal journalist on a confidential group chat than he is about exposing secrets to foreign adversaries. But White House officials have found Waltz's denials increasingly hard to believe. Waltz, who added Goldberg to the chat, told Fox News, "I take full responsibility, I built the group," but he has subsequently said Goldberg's contact information was sucked into his phone somehow, and that he has never met or talked to the journalist despite a newly circulated photo of the two men near each other at an event at the French ambassador's residence in Washington. He's telling everyone that he's never met me or spoken to me. That's simply not true. Goldberg told Meet the Press on Sunday, "This isn't the Matrix. Phone numbers don't just get sucked into other phones." He added, Waltz, the first Green Beret elected to Congress and an advisor to former Vice President Dick Cheney, has long pontificated about the importance of classified information and harshly criticized the Justice Department for not pursuing charges against Hillary Clinton for using a private email server as Secretary of State. What did DOJ do about it? Not a damn thing, Waltz wrote on social media in June 2023. The FBI investigated Clinton's use of the private server and concluded no criminal charges were warranted. FBI Director Kash Patel and Attorney General Pam Bondi have given no indication that Trump officials' use of Signal for sensitive information will be investigated, with Bondi saying the material shared was not classified. While most Trump administration officials have downplayed the Signal breach publicly, some have acknowledged it was a significant mishap. Obviously, someone made a mistake. Someone made a big mistake, Secretary of State Marco Rubio told reporters during a trip last week to Jamaica. Rubio and his staff, who have years of experience with classified intelligence from his former role as vice chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee, are known for taking operational security seriously, said a senior U.S. official. Rubio noted that his contributions in the Signal chat were minimal. Just speaking for my role, I contributed to it twice, Rubio told reporters. I identified my point of contact, which is my chief of staff, and then later on, I congratulated the members of the team. On Sunday, Trump dismissed the controversy as a politically motivated attack. I don't fire people because of fake news and because of witch hunts, he said. What are your thoughts on this situation? Do you think the use of Signal and personal email by high-level officials for sensitive matters compromises national security? How do you feel about the investigation into Secretary Hexet's actions? Share your opinions and let's discuss how this might impact government accountability and security practices.